And we're back on our Cooligans Living Room FC. And Christian, our guest is here. And I'm excited because
I am hype. I am thrilled. This is a conversation that's honestly been long overdue for this show.
A U.S. soccer legend, you know?
Okay.
And one who's been very upfront about some injuries he's had and how important that is to the game. And I think that's super important. But he apparently failed to mention that he must have got 2 foot in the taste buds because my man has some trash understandings of burgers. What's going on here? Okay. And by the way, I've already said this. Apparently, I'm not welcome in Texas anymore.
Yeah. But you hate that. You hate the injury to the taste buds. Yeah, he was out 4 to 6 weeks from ESPN, I think.
How did it happen? He needed an umami-adectomy. You know what I mean? Because his taste buds are all wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, he works for ESPN, MLS legend, U.S. men's national team legend, SportsNation legend. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Taylor Twellman.
What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing? And by the way, what's the surgery called again?
An umami-adectomy. And again, I hate to use such medical terminology on the show.
We're not trying to talk over you, but you know what I mean. It's just you hear, learn you something, Taylor.
So the point is, when you get your 7th concussion, apparently everything just goes out the window regarding taste buds. Okay. But you know what comes in when you get your 7th concussion? The truth, Alexis. The truth. And that's exactly what I was speaking about.
I think that's just
the burgers.
That's the radio receptions you're getting in your brain, bruh.
Okay, as long as neither one of you turn on the microphone, because I'll piss myself if it does, then we're good. Only I can make that joke. Everyone watching, only I can make that concussion joke.
Yeah.
So just in case people are not aware, just it must have been a week and a half ago. You had posted.
You broke the Fat Boy Internet.
Yeah, I did.
Fat Boy Internet is definitely very popular, and they're coming after you, Taylor.
Yeah.
There was a ranking. You're on Sports Nation on ESPN Plus. You were talking about burgers came up, and you had a very, very strong opinion about In-N-Out because you said it is overrated.
Everyone pictured you at an In-N-Out yelling, "What are we doing? What are we doing?"
For the record, way before "What are we doing?" I may have done that at In-N-Out because when you serve me cold potatoes and call them French fries, I'm out. But then you sell me on this double with animal style and all of this. It is the most overrated burger, and yet nobody wants to say that, Christian and Alexis. You know why? Because it's the truth, and then all of a sudden everyone on the West Coast is like, no, he didn't. No, he did. Did he really just say that? Even though deep down everybody's going, the burger is kind of crap. Like, it's not that good. Like, you go to Five Guys or Shake Shack. By the way, where are you two located right now?
We're New Yorkers. We're in New York.
Okay. Is there an In-N-Out in New York?
No, there isn't.
And by the way, if it was that good of a burger, would it be in New York? The answer is 100% unequivocally yes, sir. It's not that good. You know it and I know it. Now, because I threw in Whataburger, because I threw in maybe a Fuddruckers, even though Fuddruckers is a fantastic burger, the truth is it really cut a lot of people deep. And I mean deep.
Yeah, deep through all the fat layers that I have in my body. And I will say this, you're right about In-N-Out. In-N-Out is way overhyped. It's a fun burger to eat. It is not a great burger to eat. What I think a lot of people don't know is that you have a lot of options. So you and I are going to go to an In-N-Out one day, and I'm going to show you how I order. And my order takes about 7 minutes to say, because you can do anything you want. You get caramelized onions
What's
on
your
there.
Order right now? Tell me your order right now.
I'm not going to go through the whole thing right this moment, but I get a toast. I get the bun extra toasted. I get the French fries well done. I get sauteed onions. I get 1 slice of cheese, two patties. I do get the animal style. I mean, I go in, but that's what In-N-Out is for. And I think a lot of people don't know that.
Wendy's and orders a Kobe beef burger. Come on.
He wants gourmet. That's what he expects.
The problem with your ranking is that Whataburger even made it. It should be called What a Bummer. It is the most disgusting thing.
First off, Whataburger made it because in 2007, we won the Open Cup final in Dallas. And at 4:30 in the morning, I'm going to tell you right now, with that Open Cup trophy sitting in my lap, there may have not been a better burger at that moment in my life and for the New England Revolution history. So for everyone watching this, Whataburger makes the list every single time.
Okay.
So you heard it here first. Taylor never won in Los Angeles.
Dude, I never won anywhere else. You already know that answer.
You got to take the nostalgia where you can find it, you know?
Absolutely. Christian, that nostalgia could be literally in Mars. And I promise you right now, I will take it.
You're like, how did Checkers make it? He's like, dude, I had a party in Paterson, New Jersey.
You have no idea. I shot 69. It's the first time I ever broke 70 on the golf course. That was the only thing close.
Look, as a person, look, I'm the half of this show that is not, getting into knife fights with people about food. I saw your list, and first of all, I'm like, okay, Taylor needs to tone it down. All right, it's just a burger. That was my honest opinion. I mean, like, is everything okay with Taylor Twellman? That was my first thing. But I'm like,
meanwhile,
okay.
I'm yelling on the other end.
But then I'm like, you know what? He's an entertainer. I understand what he's doing. But then I saw all the responses. I mean, this tweet alone probably has, I think I saw 300 to 400 comments already.
No, it went viral very quickly when people were just like, Christian, it was insane.
So everybody, Whataburger is great. Whataburger is trash. The whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I was one of the only like 2 people on there that was like, hey, you know what? I like a nice, healthy, organic burger from Shake Shack. Delicious. Shake Shack is great. Wow.
Shake Shack blows it away. Shake Shack blows in and out of the way.
100%.
You two know this better than I do. But I've had family in New York for 20 years. If it's really good, New York's going to put one in there. So, like, they're going to find a way to put it in there. They just are. New York has everything else in the world, no in and out. And so everyone on the West Coast, everyone west of the Mississippi, listen, it's overrated.
Yeah.
It is. And Christian, by the way, I'm not an entertainer. I do this with my kids at home. Like, if they're not brushing their teeth, what are we doing comes out. It's just who I am.
He's like, you're going to eat that Cheez-It snack?
You're going to eat it.
It doesn't even make my top 3.
This is what In-N-Out does. You don't want cold potatoes? Like, come on.
Your kids are just like, oh, dad's being intense again. Okay.
Or the kids are like, yo, be mean to dad. You get In-N-Out.
Don't worry about it.
I've gone to In-N-Out. It was fine. I left. I'm too impartial. And look, maybe I have to be the voice of reason between you two.
I disagree. Like at least Alexis and I take a stance. You just sit on the fence.
Thank you. You've solved Christian. You've completely solved Christian.
Who just sits on the fence? Like, if you're gonna do something, at least make it wrong, but do something. Like, if you just sit on the fence, you're like, well, that doesn't work.
Okay.
That was me.
Were you my guidance counselor?
By the way. Just do something.
Taylor's advice is go and make mistakes that you can't change, and they're going to affect you for the rest of your life. As long as you make a choice.
Get a tattoo, kid. Get a tattoo on your face. What are you doing? Make a choice. Kid 7.
All right, we got so much more with Taylor. So I promise we'll talk about soccer in just a bit. So come right back.
Hey guys, I'm Hercules Gomez, and I got Gully with the Cooligans. They're gonna tell me what that means, but I did it.
All right, welcome back to the Cooligans Living Room FC. We are here with Taylor Twellman of ESPN and Sports Nation. Look, we could talk about burgers pretty much the entire episode, which I am 100% fine with. But I do want to talk about food. I think, we're big fans of pizza here. We talk about food all the time on our show. And recently, Sebastian Soto was on your show and mentioned the Serginho Dest controversy, the carb controversy, and the carb up, bro.
Carb up, bro.
All right, just tattoo it on my body, okay?
Yo.
He was fantastic. Soto was fantastic. And we asked him, like, just the craziest story he had about a teammate. And good on him to give the first American to ever play with Messi at Barcelona, right? Because that story's going to go viral in 2 seconds. If he's telling a story about, Hassani Dotson, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be funny, but then you're like, wait, Serginho Dest? And secretly, I sent it around to a bunch of people in the U.S. soccer community. I said, does Messi eat baguettes and only plain baguettes? Because if he does, I think the whole world's going to eat a baguette every single day with nothing on it.
Yeah. Also, let's put some respect on eating an entire loaf of bread in the morning, okay? Because some of us do it, and apparently all I need to do is kick a few balls around. I've been missing out on the second half of the equation my entire life.
Wait, hold on. A plain baguette? You eat that in the morning? Nothing on it?
I 100% would. Without a problem. And I have, actually. Let's be honest. I have.
Like, that's
a baguette, if it's made correctly, has a lot of sourness to it. It's got flavor. It doesn't need anything else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the lean back, the sigh of concern. You know?
Yeah.
It's when your friends tell you they believe that one weird conspiracy theory, you're like, oh, okay, cool.
No, I like the idea. Yeah, just lose my number. Yeah, just lose my number.
I'm also
please.
Cuban. We dip everything in our coffee, so to say I eat.
Wait, hold on. Exactly my point. I can't tell you another Cuban in my life, another Latino in my life that says, yeah, I'll have a plain baguette. No problem.
Yeah.
No chance. I mean, there's going to be a little jalapeno juice or something at least to dip that thing in.
I'll dip it in my coffee for sure.
It also begs a question because Soto had that story. Do you have any stories, food-related stories, U.S. men's national team, anything that comes to your mind?
Or like weird superstitions. I know some players have some.
No, there was, I remember, so it's not even a soccer story, but it is because Ray Allen was playing with the Celtics and he was a massive just soccer fan in general. And he and I kind of hit it off because of our love for golf and whatnot. And I just remember sitting there, probably the second time we were hanging out, just shooting it and talking it. And I looked at him, I said, your entire career, you've eaten the same pregame meal every single, and he goes, same thing, 18 years or whatever it was. And I looked at him going, dude, like you couldn't be more boring.
Yeah.
And yet I probably had 4 or 5 U.S. soccer national team teammates when I would try to, guys, put it this way. You go into these national team camps, you're trying to pick up little things like maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe they're doing it differently. You try to look at certain guys. But then you start to see what they're doing. You're like, nah, man, I'd rather be me. I'm cool. I'm good. Like, that's what they're doing? No, I'm out. Like, I'm not doing that. If I can't be the player that I'm going to be, but I have to do that. So Pablo Mastriani, first one, shows up at camp. We're preparing for the World Cup. And he's got a jar of pickles. So I'm looking at Pop. I'm like,
little
so I'm not
cologne,
gonna say
maybe?
anything. Right, like right away. So I'm like, a jar of pickles. Like what? So I'm sitting there looking around, and anyone watching this that played with me knows it doesn't take me that long to bust someone's balls. But obviously, this one I was a little like intrigued, but also nervous because I'm like, oh, this may be some voodoo type stuff. We're like, I'm out. I am out.
The pickles got needles poking at them.
Dude, no. So it's a jar of pickles, and we are going out before warm-ups. And he goes like this and takes a huge shot of pickle juice. Now, I love all peppers, jalapenos. I love it all. I love banana peppers. I love pickles. I love it all. Not before I go out on the field for a pregame. Not before. So I'm sitting there. And so finally, I look at, of all people, Frankie Haydick. Wrong guy to ask because he just had 17 Red Bulls. Yeah. And I was like, Frankie, what's up with Pablo? And he's like, oh, no, man. Dude, it's so good for you. It's like no lactic acid, anything. So naturally, I'm like, I'm going to give it a shot. No joke. I downed a shot of pickle juice. And within 2 minutes later, I was like, oh, God. Like I just had White Castle burgers. I'm like, I'm out. I can't do that. I can't do it. And we're wearing all white home uniforms, boys. So you know what that drill is. I was like, I'm out. Yeah. I was at least 10 minutes late, but a jar for warm-ups, a jar of pickles. And I was like, see, I'd rather I'd rather cramp.
Our producer said it's good for your joints, and I'm like, I guess so. You know?
But throw me some salami and other shit. I'm not doing that.
If I'm gonna drink pickle juice, you better be a shot of whiskey in front of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Christian, to answer your question, the pickle juice was the first time in my playing career, other than my first game in Germany the night before. Guido Gorgeous was my roommate. What a fantastic East German name. What a handle that is. Guido Gorgeous. He smoked 2 packs of cigarettes and had a 6-pack of lager the night before the game. And I'm 18 going, I'm in the, like, where did I end up? He was man of the match, and he ended up signing on for like a new night. So immediately I called home and I'm like, Dad, I think I gotta start smoking.
You're puffing on cigs. Like, I'm an athlete, bro. I'll take my career serious.
Pops, they've got the tight jeans over here. They're just getting into Baywatch 2. They're watching, Fresh Prince, all that stuff. And they smoked the night before a game. I'm not doing this right. I'm trying to get Gatorade imported. I'm trying to do all this stuff. And my man Guido is smoking, sitting in the corner, playing Keno in German. And I'm like, what am I doing? I am doing this all wrong. Literally for six weeks. Every road trip, I'm like, I'll room with Guido, and I'm like, God, I'm hammered. I smell like I played freaking poker all night, and I'm trying to make a team, and my man's man of the match, and he's moving on to a bigger club.
Yeah,
like,
you ain't winning MVP trophies being a nerd, Taylor.
Stop being so square, Taylor.
I'm sorry for trying to make this work, but by the way, hand me a six pack, will you?
It really
you just got American spirits. You're like, I'm gonna show y'all how to do this.
I became the Marlboro man in Munich.
Yeah, that's your new sponsor.
Hearing stories about even like hearing soccer play, how it was, how locker rooms were, even like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it feels like we've turned a corner to just not harming yourself before matches to be able to play at the highest level.
Is social media has changed it.
Yeah. You can't.
It was social media back then.
And I'm not that old, but I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. Social media, I think, has ruined that atmosphere. It's ruined the camaraderie. I know everyone watching this in the soccer world now is saying, I'm get off my lawn, that kind of guy. No, I'm not. That locker room, that sanctimony, that like ability to bust chops, and it's all public now, right? So you used to have beers in the locker room after games. That ain't gonna happen right now. No chance, because all it takes is one person, and then you sit there and you're like, well, okay, how many beers? Some of it for good. You follow where I'm going. It's just, Christian, you're 100% right. About 10 years ago, when social media came right into this thing around the 2010 World Cup, a lot of this has changed. A lot of it.
Unless you win the women's World Cup. And the World Cup, if you're the women, then have as much beer as you want in that locker room, bro.
I wouldn't know that. That's winning the World Cup. I am the wrong person to try to simulate that.
He has his open cup at Whataburger. Leave him alone.
Yeah. He's like, I'll take another horrible cheeseburger, please. Thank you very much.
I also have the World Cup trophy here that was used in 2005 for our FIFA tournament with the Revs that I somehow kept.
Not bad. At least you got it for the studio.
ESPN thinks, wow, that's a cool replica of the World Cup trophy. I'm like, yeah, that's what it was. It was 4:30 in the morning at Whataburger. I carried that thing.
We got more with Taylor. We get back right after this.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Jillian Sakovitz.
And I'm Susanna Collins.
And we got gully with the Cooligans.
Hi, baby. We're back on the Cooligans Living Room FC, and we are here with Taylor Twellman of ESPN. And we actually, obviously, Gully Squad being our supporters group. So we got a lot of great questions for you, Taylor. In fact, I want to bring up Dennis Higgins, because it's not so much a question, but he just wanted to say thank you for saying it the way you said it when we didn't qualify in 2018. He said most sportscasters would have sort of maintained their professionalism, and he put that in quotes. I didn't do that. I didn't add that. And given some bland, generic party line, but you gave your raw emotion. And I want to ask you about that, because I think at the moment it was easy to sort of pinpoint you as saying, like, well, you're making a big deal out of it if you were U.S. soccer and whatnot. But where do you think we are now? Because from where we were that day to right now, there seems to be like so much more positivity, so much more, but so much more, like, I guess, good feeling and goodwill towards the team. But the expectations have risen to an incredible point. Where do you think we are? And the showings of the qualifying, the Olympics have not been incredible. Where do you think we are as a federation? Where do you think we are as a development? Where do you stand right now? Do you think we are doing something good? Or are you still asking, what the hell are we doing?
Well, let's first off, it's when you hit rock bottom, anything afterwards is going to be positive because it's going to be better than rock bottom. So I say that tongue in cheek, but I also say that seriously, because when you see the amount of younger players being developed in this country, which before the debacle of World Cup qualifying, I remember saying this on ESPN networks and other platforms, but also saying it with MLS, that when Pulisic had his immediate success, I had multiple scouts in and around Europe saying, give us 4 or 5 years, you're going to have 20 to 30 Pulisics and even 100, not of that caliber, but of younger players here in this country that are going to be on the radar of European scouts. Well, I'm not saying I said anything that was revolutionary, but the truth is it's come to fruition as we've now seen it. However, it's one thing to have talent. It's another thing to put it together. There are many talented teams that have never qualified for their continental competition, for the World Cup. Just look at the Netherlands. They've had some of the best players in this world and missed World Cups. Look at Italy in the last World Cup. So I get all of that. The problem for me to sit here and tangibly say we are better is I haven't seen any real games. And that's not on Greg Berhalter's fault. Yeah. It's not U.S. Soccer. But this pandemic has thrown a massive wrinkle into trying to develop these guys against quality competition. Guys, we're going to see games against Northern Ireland, Jamaica. We saw it against Panama in Europe until Switzerland in June of 2021. That's going to be the first real test that we've seen since Mexico and whatnot. So it's very difficult for me to tangibly say we're better. But for all of you watching this saying that we're going to win the World Cup, yeah, the United States is sure as hell going to try to win the World Cup. But if that's the level of expectation for this group, ultimately we're all going to be disappointed because I think that's way out of control and way out of hand from where we are right now.
Okay. And,
I need to call my bookmaker real quick. Hold on.
I would absolutely call your bookmaker right now because the odds are going to be fantastic. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Talking about that particular moment, because that was a moment on ESPN. The What Are We Doing? We have to talk about in detail because this and you were with our homie Max Brados on SportsCenter, and it's great because we're not always hearing about soccer on SportsCenter, and you delivered one of the more
less professional according to your fan base.
You were like Kanye when he said George Bush don't care about black people, and Max Brados was like, okay, he going for it. I guess keep the camera on him, you know.
It was amazing. You delivered one of the more impassioned, speeches really about your frustration with this, and I think it turned a lot of people on to not just, the people who didn't acknowledge like soccer or don't find it important. It took even me, someone who cares about soccer, from a point of like, oh, I get that this is bad, but maybe I don't really understand like how bad it is or how embarrassing it is. And it took it to the point where like, yo, this is really, really serious. And so you do your segment on Sports Nation. What are we doing? The branding is strong. The brand is strong for Taylor Twellman. Yeah. So what did this moment do for you and your connection to sports and soccer? Because it was that popular.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it was organic. It was real. It was unplanned, obviously. I remember sitting in the control room. We have this great little room where it's got probably about 12 to 13 television screens where Scott Van Pelt and his crew prepped SportsCenter for that night. And that was a big night. You know, a lot of people forget, but Messi was, Argentina's qualifying. Life was on, and they gave up an early goal in that game. So we had all the CONMEBOL games on. We had CONCACAF in. I remember when Panama scored a goal but didn't score a goal, and I looked at everybody in the room. I said, that's going to bite us in the ass. That is going to bite us in the ass. And like, hold on, United States is going to score. I said, mark my words, that's going to be a storyline. And so the drama built. When the game started, guys, we had 4 people in that room. When the games ended, we had about 20 people in that room. Because the drama started building, everybody started seeing it. And everyone was kind of looking at me being the quote-unquote soccer guy. Max Brados was crying because he was that shook up by what just happened. And so everyone in that room saw it. And yet there was, if I'm not mistaken, there was a college basketball game on ESPN. So we had to go to ESPN News. Max looks at me 4 seconds before we go on air and basically looks at me and says, "What do you want to do?" And I go, "I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. Just get it to me, and we'll see what happens." I'm so thankful I didn't say the F-bomb. I am. I mean, you guys know me well enough now. That's an accomplishment in itself. But it was real and it's organic. Now it's turned into something that I had no idea would turn into that. I was just still pissed off. The fact that I only slept 2 hours that night and then did, I think, over 35 shows the next day, ending with Scott Van Pelt that night. And Scott and I had a real open conversation about the state of U.S. soccer and where it's going. And I still stand by that to this day. I'm not totally sure where it is going with the leadership and whatnot, but yet I sat there and I was like, that's interesting. I remember getting a call 2 days later from the news editor saying that clip has run in over 140 some odd countries.
Wow.
And then I started thinking, oh man, like I was initially pissed because I'm like, that's what they're going to talk about for it? Because we're all in this to grow the game. It wasn't about that for me. It never, still to this day, isn't. That was my natural reaction. And so that's
don't lie. You were wondering how to say it. How do I say this in Dutch and in Italian?
Because, by the way, I know the direct translation to German, and it kind of falls flat.
Yeah.
You're better just running it in English. Just run it in English. But now we do it on Sports Nation. We do it on a lot. Sports Center has the audio. Scott Van Pelt uses it all the time. But for Sports Nation in itself, I'm only using it as a vehicle to tell important stories that I feel are impactful. Myers Leonard using the K word. Urban Meyer hiring a racist at Jacksonville that immediately, less than 24 hours after we did What Are You Doing? And it goes viral. I'm not saying, but he fires that guy. The Chicago Bears to their quarterback situation. The Rooney Rule in sports, right? So I'm only going to do it when it's impactful because I think that brand of What Are We Doing means it needs to be something important, like the United States missing the World Cup for the first time in how many years?
Of course. Or just, when you take a bite at In-N-Out, you're like, well, obviously, what are we doing? And
but see, my Christian, like, I wish I did What Are We Doing on that. That was just, like, real. That was like, I was in the middle of an NBA conversation, and Trevor Scales, my partner, goes, yeah, it's like In-N-Out burgers. And it was like a light went off. I'm like, you know what? I'm going off on that, too.
He hates the West Coast. You heard him here.
All right, we got more with Taylor Twellman. Come right back. All right, welcome back to the Cooligans Living Room FC, and thank you so much to Taylor Twellman for joining us, man. Dude, you are welcome back anytime you would like to be on here. We're absolutely honored. I figured you will probably mention this, but I want to mention a question we had from another fan, Luke Sturgio, who asked, what's your ultimate goal with the Think Taylor Foundation, which I know is your foundation, very, very important to you.
It's a great question. My goal is just to help education and awareness. And last year we had, before the pandemic, so it'd be 2019, we had 5 million boys and girls in the United States of America take the Think Taylor Pledge, which is just basically pledging ownership of your own brain and helping educate the younger generation so parents and coaches get out of the way. That's all I'm trying to do. Behind the scenes, I'm trying to get concussion substitution rules into the game, which we are going to get there. And I promise everyone, Major League Soccer is going to turn the corner very quickly on that. So my job is just to use my injury and a platform to better educate and make more people aware.
And umami-ectomies. We got to get that involved.
I mean, umami-ectomy? Like what?
Yeah.
What?
I thought it was otomy, but now it's an ectomy. It sounds like vasectomy. It's a little confusing.
Sure.
Well, it advances so fast, medicine,
So thank you so much for joining us, man. For real, this is super cool. Is there anything else you want to plug? Obviously, follow Taylor Twellman on Twitter because you are one of the most loved and hated men in American soccer when it comes to Twitter as well.
Yeah, which is fantastic. That means I'm actually saying something. At Taylor Twellman on Twitter and Instagram, and then you can watch me obviously on the soccer properties with ESPN and Sports Nation on ESPN Plus.
Great.
Okay, make sure to check those things out. Make sure you follow us at Soccer Cooligans, follow at Fubo Sports on all social media channels, and subscribe to the Fubo Sports YouTube channel for full episodes of the show. All right, and a couple other pieces of business. Taylor Twellman, we need your golazo GIF. We've been doing this the last few weeks. Stu Holden just did one recently. He went nuts. He celebrated on television, taking off his shirt. I'm not telling you that's what you have to do. I'm just telling you what some of your peers are doing out here. Okay.
Yeah, see, Stu wants to take off his shirt.
Yeah.
If I ever took off my shirt, my dad would literally kick me out of the house. Like, my dad had one rule: if you take off your shirt after scoring a goal, you're not my son anymore. I was like, all right, I got it. He told me that at like age 8. So
hilarious.
That's ingrained. Right now, I've straddled a corner kick post. I've done many different things, sure, but I will not take my shirt off. My dad would kill me.
Okay,
so you just scored a goal in the Whataburger Championship. You just won it for your team. You get unlimited Whataburger for life. What is your goal celebration?
Yes! Yes! By the way, that was my exact words when I said after the bicycle kick against the Chicago Fire in 2007.
Let's go.
Let's go. They need to be reminded, too.
Because Juan Carlos Osorio immediately was like, I'm getting out of MLS. I can't do it.
Okay. Incredible work, Taylor. So thank you so much for joining us again. Let us end the show the way we normally do, as is tradition. For Taylor Twellman, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
And together, what are we?
The Cooligans!